Hi, my name is Isaac Dealey. I started a career in software engineering in 1994, and I'm autistic. I'd like to talk about something that's important to me, something that I think should be important to everyone, and that's equality. Everyone knows that here in the US, women weren't always allowed to vote. For a long time, we held the belief that women were intellectually inferior, so they couldn't be trusted to make good political decisions. We've come a long way since then. Not only do women now have the right to vote, but even today we continue to try and eliminate the pay gap between men and women because the average salary for a woman in a given job is still lower than the average salary for a man in the same job. And this is a relatively small inequity when compared to the right to vote, but we continue to work at it because we know that men and women are equally competent, and we believe in fair and equal treatment for men and women. Equality isn't just important between men and women, of course, it's important for all people. Everyone deserves the same opportunities to have meaningful jobs and contribute to their community. Since I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome in 2008, I've discovered that the unemployment rate for people with autism and Asperger's syndrome is staggeringly 80%. That's one in five. That's mind blowing to me when you consider the fact that people are going absolutely crazy over an unemployment rate of only 14% in Michigan right now. I have to think that this is in part because employers have a similar stereotype about autistic people that leads them to believe that we would automatically be inferior employees, just like women weren't allowed to vote because men believed that they were intellectually inferior. But many of us are just as competent. In fact, Vernon Smith, who received a Nobel Prize in 2002 for inventing the field of experimental economics, is diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. And he even believes that his autism helped with his work. So we may come to understand, just as we did with gender inequality, uh, or gender equality rather, that the majority of autistic people are more competent than we give them credit for. And recent IQ-based studies have actually shown this to be the case. I suspect the largest other challenge we face with jobs is the fact that the fusiform gyrus, which is the part of the brain that reads facial expressions, is underdeveloped. This is the reason why we have so much difficulty with communication, because there's so much in facial expressions and body language that we don't understand. But we can learn to read them. I've heard people say, you can't be autistic because you make eye contact. And, well, that is one of the stereotypes of autistic people. But I was talking to my fiance recently, and I heard her say suddenly, "Is there something wrong with my shirt?" And apparently, I was staring at the buttons on her shirt um, in spite of the fact that I was listening to what she was saying. Um, I'm also really glad that that particular conversation wasn't with a female coworker, because that would not have gone over well. But this is the kind of thing that happens a lot with autistic people, and I suspect that it makes job interviews rather difficult, not to mention keeping jobs. Um, but I believe that, like women's suffrage, there are things we can do about equal employment for people with autism. When I was diagnosed in 2008, I could have simply rolled over and said, well, that's it, I'll be a second-class citizen for the rest of my life. I could have, but I didn't. I don't want to spend my time feeling sorry for myself. I want to make the world a better place. So I've created a place called Autelligent Laboratories where we can start creating meaningful jobs for people with autism and Asperger's syndrome. And I've been just amazed at how quickly it's taken shape, and people are getting involved and helping us to make these jobs a reality. And you can too. Go to autlabs.com. That's www.autlabs.com. Read up on what we're doing, check out our wiki, get involved. Thank you.